I'd like to urge us, as much as we are prioritizing productivity in the workplaces, let us also prioritize the mental health of our individuals.
How are you? My name is Alice Nema, and countless number of times we have had the topic and rising mental health. But today I want us to take another angle. We shed light on issues mental health in the workplace, so that as we even continue and we progress into the holidays, one will be able to assess themselves. As you celebrate, you also figure yourself out, so that when you're coming to 2026 with your new resolutions, you come up with a better version of you, right? Fully developed, fully understanding what you're doing, right? And with me, I have a guest who will shed light and teach us as we learn more things and in an extensive and broader manner. Mental health in the workplace. That is our topic of discussion for today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you also for making time for this. Now, before we continue, give us, what is your name? As you tell us who you are, just give us an overview of who we are having today.
Thank you for having me. I'm Juliet Kagiri. I'm a certified counseling psychologist. So I am very happy to be here today, and forgive my voice. I don't normally sound like this. I'm just having the flu, but there is no way I'd miss today's invite.
Now, mental health in the workplace. From a psychologist perspective, what are the most common mental health challenges you see professionals face in today's work environment?
Thank you for that question. I hope today's conversation is going to shed a lot of light to our viewers, and it's going to be insightful and helpful. So I've come across a number of challenges that people face in the workplace. We have depression, we have workplace stress, we have isolation and loneliness. We do have a lot of challenges, but allow me to talk about the most common challenges I have seen consistently. So we have anxiety. So allow me to go in depth. Anxiety is when you're feeling persistent worry, persistent tension, persistent fear that you feel like you are unable to control, even when there is no immediate threat. So most of the people go through anxiety, and I'd say every person in one time or two times in their life, they experience anxiety. But when it comes to workplace, it's because of continuous overload, work overload. You have conflict at the work, which is very normal because this is the place where you spend a lot of your time. Allow me to ask, so what does your schedule look like? How much time do you spend at work?
Well, from Monday to Friday, from 8 to 5. So 3/4 of my time is spent here.
Exactly. So this is why a lot of problems that you've mentioned always stem from our places of work. Anyway, so I was talking about anxiety. What does anxiety look like, so that we can be able to notice when our colleagues are falling into it, or notice ourselves getting there. So anxiety, we have physical symptoms, like you can have a tight chest, your shoulders are very unrelaxed, you can breathe too fast. But we also have other symptoms that are not physical, like someone who's unable to perform tasks like they used to. They are unable to do new stuff because they're afraid of fear of failure. They need constant validation from their superiors to feel like they are actually doing whatever it is they should be. So that is what I have to say on anxiety. Another problem we have is burnout. So burnout is accumulated stress. We all have stress.
Yes.
One time, especially at these places of work. But now burnout is overloaded, like a pile up of stress that has not been managed.
Okay.
So allow me to describe burnout in a psychological way. This is the psychological, physical, emotional exhaustion that a person experiences due to unmanaged stress.
Okay.
So what does burnout look like? So that we can be able, once again, so that we can be able to help ourselves or help our colleagues once we notice us slipping into it. So burnout is quite similar.
Okay.
In my experience with clients, a lot of people think burnout is stress, but burnout is not stress.
Okay.
Because burnout is extreme. You have fatigue, you are emotionally numb, you see the way you have tasks, and you just want to finish so that you can move on to the next, or just finish and relax. But when it comes to burnout, you do not have that motivation. You're just there. You don't care anymore. You don't care if you do it. You don't care if you don't. You don't care of the repercussions. So that is what burnout looks like.
Okay.
Another symptom of burnout is isolation and withdrawal. You don't want to associate with your people as much, because now you just have a lot of things going on. You're either too present or too absent. So that is what I have to say on burnout.
Wow. Okay.
Another common challenge that we see as psychologists in the work environment is imposter syndrome. I know this is quite new, but this is where an individual feels like they're undeserving of their success, regardless of how competent they might be, regardless of how well they perform their duties and tasks, regardless of how much compliments they receive from their members, they still feel like a fraud who is about to be discovered. So most people go through this because of perfectionism, comparing yourself to others. You know, once you do that, you will never feel like you're adding up to something. So what does imposter syndrome look like? These are the people who do not accept promotions. They do not accept new tasks because they are not sure they're going to meet whatever expectations they might find. Another symptom of imposter syndrome is fear of interaction. Because like I said, imposter is feeling like a fraud who's about to be discovered. So you evade social connection because you just don't feel good enough. So imposter syndrome is very common with young women. I don't understand why, but I think we're the ones who suffer from this, because we always feel like I can be better, I can do better. So those three are the main challenges that people face in the workplace.
Help us understand the difference between mental health and mental illness. Because as you're speaking like this, some people, even myself, I find myself, these two terms, they might seem similar, but they have different meanings, which people end up mixing. So would you kindly expound on that?
So mental health and mental illness are two very different things. Mental health is your state of well-being. You see, just like physical health, we have mental health. And they differ from one person to another based on the things we do to take care of ourselves. Just like physical health, you see, we have fit people, we have unfit people because of the exercises they do, because of dieting, because of rest. So that is the same thing with mental health. If you take care of your mental health, for instance, by self-care, going for therapy, you're going to have good mental health. But if you have none of that, you are definitely going to have poor mental health. So that is a state of well-being, mental well-being. Then when it comes to mental illness, just like physical illnesses, you know, when I mention physical illnesses, we have diabetes. These are diseases that we face physically. So that is the same thing when it comes to mental illnesses. These are clinically diagnosed conditions or disorders that we face. For instance, we have bipolar, we have schizophrenia, we have depression. So these are illnesses that we face mentally. The second part of that question was, why is this distinction important? So you see, when you go for an interview, or when you come to workplaces, a lot of people just assume that, if this person does not have a mental illness, they're okay. But that is very false, because you see, your state of well-being is everything, because that is what determines your performance. True. That is what determines your motivation. Yes. So it is important to know this so that we can shed as much light on mental health and not just mental illnesses. Then you see, when organizations realize this, we are able to offer help and prevent individuals from getting to the mental illness part. So that is what I have to say for that question.
Before we continue, we were talking about organizations.
Yes.
And when you explained, you explained in broad the first question on most common issues. Can we just pinpoint these two that I'm seeing? Burnout and work stress. We just classify them as if someone will not take anything else from it, let them take this one point. So let's just highlight them. The differences between burnout and normal work stress.
Okay, that's a very good question, because like I had earlier mentioned, a lot of people confuse these two things.
Yes.
Most people don't admit that they are experiencing burnout, or let's just say most people don't know when they're experiencing burnout. They just assume it is work stress. So work stress and burnout are quite different, because burnout is extreme work stress that has not been managed. So allow me to begin with a few differences. When we come to work stress is very short-lived. For instance, you have a task you need to submit by, let's say, 4 p.m. You see, you're going to be stressed, and that is good stress, because it's going to push you to finish whatever it is you're supposed to do. But when it comes to burnout, regardless of, it is long-term. So regardless of the period or you submitting your task, you're still going to be fatigued. You're still going to be exhausted, regardless of finishing whatever it is you are supposed to do. Another thing is motivation. When you have a task, you are motivated to do it. That is work stress. But when it comes to burnout, you have zero motivation. You don't care anymore, like we mentioned. So, you're not motivated to do it at all. Kama mbaya. Another difference is, your energy levels. When you're having work stress, you are overstimulated, you are overactivated. I just want to finish this. But burnout, none of that. You're just there. So something else we need to know is, when it comes to work stress, when you take your off days, I believe you have off days, or the weekends off, or the leaves, when you take that break or time out, you recover. You are pumped to come back and do as much. But when it comes to burnout, regardless of the time out, the rest, the break, you do not recover. So I like to use this metaphor. Work stress is like running for a short distance. You see, the way I used to run in primary. So work stress is like running 100 meters. You run fast, you get to the finish line, you get glucose, people clap, and you are rejuvenated. But when it comes to burnout, you are running continuously. No pausing, no stopping. So what happens? Your body and brain eventually shut down. So that is what burnout is.
Now, you've talked about work, about my off days. Beyond providing an employee assistant program, if when you have issues, you come to you have that HR. What are the most effective proactive steps? What steps do you think a company's leadership can take to foster a mentally healthy culture in the organization?
So I feel like the keyword here is leadership.
Of course.
So what can our leaders do to help us maintain mental well-being? So first of all, we need leaders who act as examples. We said we need rest. Just like physical health, mental health needs as much care as we need as much care. So we need rest. So if your leader always comes on the weekend, you're supposed to come from 8 to 5, but they're here at 6 and they leave at 7. You see, indirectly, they pressure you guys to do the same. And that is very wrong, because leaders need to set an example that encourages you people to rest and break and prioritize your mental well-being. So another thing leaders can do, and this is one of the things we do, especially for corporates. We encourage leaders to have empathy and listening skills. Because if an employee comes to you and you are cold, you shut them out, you don't know how to listen, they are going to be unable to open up the other time. Our leaders also need to encourage a workplace where we support each other, we understand the importance of mental health. So I think those are some of the things our leaders can do to enable us all achieve mental wellness.
I'm imagining a place where our leaders are good. I'm imagining a place where such things are there and they're not taken into consideration. That becomes toxic. And toxic and me, no, we are very far. Let's first start with, what is the psychological profile of a toxic work environment? I'm pretty sure people use toxic because mtu alikatana na his idea or the idea. So what is the psychological profile of a toxic work environment? Okay,
you see, as much as people complain about unemployment, all those things, when you begin dealing with people who are in the workplace, they also face as much challenges just like the people who are unemployed. And this is mostly because of the toxic work environment. So when we hear a toxic work environment, what people are more inclined to is having a bad boss. But that is not just it. A toxic work environment is a place that has normalized, or this is a place that has the culture of gossip, blame mentality, disrespect. So this is just a place that does not encourage psychological health. It just causes a lot of psychological harm. Allow me to mention some symptoms or some signs that you're in a toxic work environment. For instance, you have poor communication. For example, you're given a task, your superior does not mention what time you're supposed to finish it, or they don't give you a deadline, but they keep on pressuring. Where is that work? You were supposed to give me, you did not give me. You see, that is poor communication. And that eventually causes a lot of psychological harm to you. Another thing that shows you're in a toxic work environment is there is favorism. There is exclusion. It can be because of how you look like, it can be because of your tribe. It can just be because of whatever reason. It can just be because of the projections of your bosses. But some people face favorism. Another thing we have is micromanagement. I know we all hate micromanagement and control. This is when your leaders don't allow you to think for yourself. They don't give you the chance to do whatever you're supposed to do on your own. And you know how much effects that can put on you. So another sign that you're in a toxic work environment is drama and a lot of work politics. This is where people gossip continuously. Your mind is never at ease. You're just wondering, what are they saying about me? Why did my boss look at me like that? What have they told him? You see? So those are the kind of things that make an environment toxic.
What now? Let's say this viewer has realized, I'm in a toxic work environment. What strategies do you have for the viewer to cope or exit the environment?
Okay, so we have coping strategies when you're working in a toxic environment. And the first one is find your people, find allies. For instance, if you're experiencing exclusion, find someone who's also experiencing the same. You see, you'll have found your people. You're going to be able to push each other because you're already experiencing the same. Another thing you can do is protect your mental space. You can create boundaries. You can do a lot of breathing exercises, for instance, before meetings. You can just protect yourself because that is what is in your control. Another thing you can do, and we encourage clients to do, is document if it persists, begin to document these little things that you're seeing, so that when you need to present them, for instance, to your HR, isikwe story ya jaba, you have something to show, you see. And something else you can do is, I always advocate for self-care. I advocate for a lot of therapy, because we are able to build your coping mechanism, we are able to build your self-worth. So as much as you're in a toxic workplace, you're going to have the emotional resilience to push through. If none of that works, I always encourage my clients to start thinking of an exit plan. And what I like to say is, when you're planning to exit, please don't do it in the middle of crisis. Don't do it when everything is in shambles. No. Just let things settle down first, and then that is the best time to leave. And you also need to start, accepting that, and you need to begin untying yourself. You need to start breaking up with that job mentally. So just tell yourself, you know what? Whatever my boss said, I am not that. Wow. You need to start detaching, so that even when the next place you're going to go to, you're going to be healthy. You won't go with all these traumas from your previous workplace.
Positive affirmations.
Yes, I have. That is what I have for that question.
Wow. This is lovely. I'm learning a lot. I hope you're also learning. What are 2 to 3 evidence-based coping mechanisms? Now for me, I've just joined my workplace. What other coping mechanisms do you suggest one person can use during the workday to manage immediate stress and anxiety? Because being a journalist, there are times breaking news, and you also have your work, and you have to finish that. Let me just be honest, you have to finish that. And I'm pretty sure it's not just me, it's also for other journalists as well.
I love this question because it brings us back the power. It reminds us that, what, at the end of the day, I am the one who has the control to deal with anxiety, to deal with this normal stress that I'm experiencing. So the first technique I'd like us to talk about is breathing exercises. I know this is something we hear.
It's common.
Quite often.
Like, what do you mean?
But have you done it before?
No.
Exactly. So we always assume these things, but they're the ones that actually help us the most. So when I talk about breathing exercises, the best technique I like to share is, we call it the 4-7-8 breathing technique. So here, you might close your eyes. If you're in a space where you feel comfortable enough to do it, you close your eyes. You now channel, your inner, we are trying to channel your inner calm. So you inhale with your nose and count to 4. So inhale and then count 1, 2, just slowly till 4. And then you hold and count to 7. And then you exhale slowly with your mouth until 8. So you do this, let's say 3 to 4 times. And I like this technique because, believe me, when you do it, especially when you're anxious, especially when you feel like you're spiraling or
angry,
you're just, your mind is all over the place, it helps calm your nervous system. We have a lot of breathing techniques, but I love that one the most because it has worked for me, it has worked for my clients. So viewers, kindly make a point of trying it. Another technique I like to talk about is the 5 senses technique.
Okay.
Yes. Now, these are things you guys should do. So the 5 senses technique is where you're trying to ground yourself. We use this one when you're trying to bring yourself back to the present, especially for people who are overthinking, So you're trying to bring yourself back to the present. So for the 5 sense technique, you focus on 5 things you can see.
Okay.
At that moment, 5 things you can see.
Okay.
4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste.
Eat. Yes.
You see, taste. So you see, these are our 5 senses. So the moment you focus on them, you're able to ground yourself and bring yourself back to the present.
Wow.
Another technique that I love is micro-journaling. I said micro because you don't have a lot of time to do it.
Yeah.
Or taking a 60-second break. So this is when things get overwhelming, you know, overload, work overload, drama and work politics are weighing you down. So this is when you just take a moment to reflect and try to bring back your inner calm. So micro-journaling, I encouraging people to journal because it allows you to logically analyze whatever it is you're feeling. You know, the moment you get angry, your mind is just all over the place.
Like,
you know?
Yeah.
But when you write, it allows you to reflect exactly what it is you're feeling. You know, when you're writing, you ask yourself, what am I really feeling? What is really making me angry? What is really making me anxious? So that helps you to really understand what you're feeling, and it gives you clarity on the steps to take moving forward. So for the 60-second break, this is just pausing. If you are typing, just pause. Count to 60, just relax, and then you can proceed. Dio kazi endi mahali. You still need to do it.
Yeah.
So just take a break to channel your inner strength, and then you can proceed.
Wow.
If time allows, you can go out, take a short walk. You can listen to that song that you love that reminds you you're the G, you know.
Yeah.
You can do a bit of self-talk for people who like to do it, you know. You got this. Keep going, girl, you know. So that is what I have to say for that question. I hope that was insightful.
It was. Now, what are the most common reasons people hesitate to seek professional mental health? Because I know for me, let me use me. You're like, everyone is going through life. Life is lifing. Why should I go take myself to someone else? You know? But I'm pretty sure there are other reasons from a psychological point of view perspective. With the clients you've also met. Please shed light.
So one thing we say, or one thing that is a fact, is everyone needs help. Everyone needs mental health assistance. But what hinders us from seeking it and achieving that is because we are unsure of what repercussions might follow.
Yes.
So the thing with, allow me to answer why people are afraid to seek help, especially in the workplace environment. Number one, you're afraid of stigma and judgment. You know, we have offices that have a counseling room. So you as an individual, you're afraid that if your colleague sees you walking into that room, or your boss, you're already in jeopardy. So there's that fear of stigma and judgment that hinders a lot of people from seeking help. We also have the beliefs, personal beliefs and cultures. Allow me to use men. Men wanajigonga kifua, wanasema I'm a man, you know, I will handle this on my own. So you see, that is a personal belief that hinders an individual from seeking assistance. Another thing is job insecurity and those kind of fears. So you're afraid that if someone learns that you are out there going for therapy, they'll have a few questions about, is this person okay to do this job? You see, so those are just fears that we might have. Another thing is confidentiality. You know, I like that where we are now, there's a lot of mental health awareness, but still we don't have all the info about what therapy really entails, So a lot of people don't know that for a psychologist, for a therapist, the moment we sit down to talk, the moment you come to my office for a session, whatever we say there, like it is in my ethics, my number one ethics, that whatever we talk about stays with with me. Unless you want to harm others, unless you want to harm yourself. But otherwise, whatever we say stays there. But you see, a lot of people don't know that. Or your boss might be calling someone who's not a psychologist, someone who's not a therapy. So they don't share the same ethics. So these are some of the things that make people fear to ask for help. I also think that we have people who want to seek the help. We have people who want to be assisted, but they're unsure where they're supposed to go. You know, I want to talk to someone, but now who am I supposed to talk to? So there's that lack of information of where to go to.
Wow.
Yes.
How does the concept of self-compassion play a role in preventing work-related mental health issues like imposter syndrome or perfectionism?
Sorry. Okay. So when we talk about self-compassion, this is what it consists of. So number one, you are kind to yourself, you know? For instance, when there's a lot of things happening, you handle yourself with gentleness, you handle yourself with kindness. So that is one thing that self-compassion means. Then it also means that you are mindful of how you're feeling, mindful of the part you've played in whatever the situation is. And then there's also common humanity. When you talk about self-compassion, this is realizing, you know what, I'm human. I can come in late one day. You know, something can happen. I can make a mistake.
Yeah.
So that is what self-compassion is. Just reminding yourself that this happens. This is not the end of life. You know what? I can be gentle to myself. So self-compassion is very helpful. For instance, you know, when we mentioned imposter syndrome, we said these are people who feel like they're undeserving of, and it's a thinking pattern. So you see, when you have self-compassion, you automatically combat that. Because if you remind yourself, you know what, I am as worthy as that person is. I am as deserving as that person is. So I deserve this promotion. I deserve this new task. I deserve this and this. So that automatically helps us reduce anxiety. It helps us reduce imposter syndrome. When it comes to perfectionism, you remind yourself that whatever I am doing is enough. So you see, you're able to clear and minimize and mitigate a lot of issues when you practice self-compassion.
Wow. Now I'm self-compassionate to myself and realize, my boss or my manager or my supervisor is causing me to have stress, is the one leading to the deterioration of my mental health. What is the most psychological sound way to address the issue constructively? Because I need money. He's also my boss. She's also my boss. What do I do?
So I come across this question oftenly. As much as we might not want to admit, we do have bad bosses. We have bad people. So you don't expect good things from bad people. So what will you do if your boss is the cause of your stress? So number one is do a lot of reflection before reacting. You know, the way we say, the moment you speak, you can't take your words back.
Yeah.
So do a lot of reflection before reacting. Before you decide to confront, before you decide to approach, reflect. Why am I really feeling the way I'm feeling? Is it because of them or is it because of me? You know, is it something they triggered that I am yet to heal from or I'm yet to deal with? So reflecting is going to help you find a lot of clarity. Another thing you can do is you can decide to now confront, but you have to be wise when it comes to that. And the first step to doing that is using I statements. When we say I statements is when you approach your boss, you don't go and tell them, you know, you make me feel angry. You need to use, I've been feeling angry, you know, It reduces a lot of defensiveness because you're speaking from an I perspective and you're entitled to your feelings. So you see, when you say I, you're talking about yourself. But when you go shooting stones to the other person, they're definitely going to be defensive. Another thing you can do is document. You see, if it becomes unbearable, now document. And once you document, you can now seek assistance from another party. You can now call a mediator to intervene. You can go to HR, present your complaints, you know. And then if that does not work, I always advise my clients, now it is okay to start thinking of an exit. You're not tied there. And you know, a place that does not appreciate you, a place that does not value you, does not allow you to, you're not able to perform as best. So I think that is what I can say.
You mentioned on when it comes to burnout, someone can either be too present or too absent, right? So can you also tell us the cost to both the employee and the business?
Okay, so absenteeism is quite popular, but presenteeism is not as much. So what is presenteeism that we are talking about? So this is when someone is physically present at a workplace, but they're not there mentally, they're not there emotionally. So you can already see how difficult, you know. Yes, exactly. So what is the cost? Let's begin with the cost of this to an individual. So the moment you're there, but you're not there, you see, you're there, but you're not there, you're definitely going to make a lot of poor judgment, poor decisions, and that is going to affect the organization. Yes. Significantly, actually. Another cost it has to the individual is you will need more time to recover. You see, you're there, but you're not there. So the moment your body decides to totally shut down, you see, now you're going to be absent. I am linking, you see, you can tell I'm linking both the individual and the organization at the same time. So the moment you're absent, it will definitely take a toll to the organization. Because whatever work and whatever tasks that you are doing, they'll either need to find a new employee, they'll either need to put that work to another person. You see? So presenteeism has a lot of effects on both an individual and the organization.
I hope you've noted that. I have noted that. Now, as we were about to finish, now, you know, with AI, everything is being made digital. So with the use of technology, with where we're headed, what role do you think it should play, technology and AI, in supporting mental wellness in the workplace? And okay, let's just say we're bringing AI and technology into this. What role does it play in promoting positive mental health? And also, what are the negative sides of bringing technology and AI?
So this is actually a good question, because in the world we're living in now, technology and AI is actually taking extreme effect. So when dealing with clients, the moment someone is talking, let's say, I've been talking to ChatGPT, so these are things that are happening. These are things that are happening, and it's quite okay. But allow me to mention some of the pros and some of the cons of AI and technology. So let's begin with the pros. Good thing with tech and AI, it is easily accessible and very convenient. If you're having a breakdown, you see, you can just you just need bundles and talk to, for instance, ChatGPT at that moment. Not like a therapist. When you call me, we need to book a session. You need to find a day that is not preoccupied. You see, so AI is quite easily accessible. Another thing is you don't fear judgment. You can tell it anything, because nothing. It will not go anywhere. It is just between you and And
AI.
So that is actually another thing. Another benefit is tech has a lot of information compared to even us as professionals. We still have to go to the internet and do a lot of research. So you see, tech has a lot of information. It does a lot of training and education. So those are the pros. When we come to the cons, AI lacks empathy, lacks the human empathy. You know, AI just uses statistics and previous, previous findings, but it does not have empathy. And you see, when it comes to recovery, especially mental recovery, you need as much support, you need as much human empathy as possible. But you see, you don't get that from AI. Another thing, what if you forget to log out and you're using the work's computer? What happens? Another colleague logs in, reads whatever you've been saying. So you see, there's no guaranteed confidentiality and privacy compared to finding
a psychologist.
Yes. Another thing is there is information overload. You see, that's why physical doctors tell us, do not Google your symptoms. Because I might be coughing and they start telling me throat cancer. I panic, So that's the same thing. When it comes to tech and AI, there's a lot of information overload, which simultaneously leads to fatigue, information. You become exhausted because it's too much. You're not even sure what to go with and what not to go with. I like tech and AI because it helps us in a lot of things. But what I advise my clients is, please don't substitute the two. You can use them together. Let's practice to use tech and AI to enhance the human bit, but let's not substitute. We can use both of them together, but don't use AI on its own.
No, that is I need to go through this again on my own and make notes.
Kindly.
Now, as we finish, what closing remarks do you happen to have for to the workplace society in Kenya? Let's just call them the workplace society organizations. All that under one name.
So if this is my mic drop moment, please, viewers, if you don't take anything, just take this. You matter, regardless of your bad days at work, regardless of the low productivity and all those things. Your self-worth and value is not tied to your work.
Yes.
I want you guys to remember that. And then what I can say is, mental health is, we cannot negotiate. It is innegotiable. So let's, and to be able to perform, to be able to be the best version of yourself, you have to be mentally okay. You have to be mentally sane. So kindly, let's prioritize self-care. Let's prioritize therapy so that we can be able to produce those good seeds. For organizations and leaders, I'd like to urge us, as much as we are prioritizing productivity in the workplaces, let us also prioritize the mental health of our individuals. Thank you. So that is what I have to say. But before we close this up, for anyone who'd want to book sessions or anyone who'd want to check me out for so many other different things they might be going through, you can check me on I have a WhatsApp channel called Therapy with Juliet. Once you get there, you're going to get my information and we can walk this journey together. So once again, thank you for having me. And I hope whatever conversations we've had today were insightful and helpful to as many viewers as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. I have learned so much. I think I'm also going to see you after this.
Kindly.
Because there are things I was just putting stars. Thank you so much for your time. Also, thank you for booking us. I know you have a busy schedule. And for our viewers, this thing is bigger than we thought. So feel free to watch again. Feel free to share. Make sure someone else, a colleague, an organization, your leaders, they listen to this, because it is important at the end of the day that I have to be sound. Don't feel shy to also reach out when you see that, penye imefika, I can't continue. And one of the ways of reaching out is also reaching out to Juliet. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Follow, like, share, and subscribe. Have a lovely time. You enjoy your holidays, because I know they have already begun. Goodbye.